Tonight, we are privileged to have Corey Green. He is running for U.S. Senator for Oklahoma. And just an amazing resume you have. Law enforcement. You run a nonprofit that helps child trafficking or trafficking victims. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
So would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself beyond that before we get started?
Sure. I probably statistically shouldn't be sitting here today, having survived trafficking myself and survived the streets and foster care, homelessness and hunger and, just doing what I could to survive through my early years. All the things that I have done in my life, in my adult life, and still currently do, has been to try and make a difference in some way. It started with my children being born and wanting to be a parent that they would be proud to have and to be proud to call me dad. And that, just carried on to trying to figure out how I be the person that I always needed for other people. And that's really how I ended up in the places that I ended up in. Law enforcement was really the only thing that it really didn't call to me, but I just thought that, if I ever grow up and survive all this, I'm going to, I'm going to be a policeman and I'm going to come back and clean all this up, Sadly, it didn't work out that way, but I did the work that I felt was honorable. And of course, other things called me away from that. So, I eventually left and chased other things where I felt like I could make a bigger impact.
100%. And thank you for that. Wow, yes. What a story. So, who has the first question out of the gate tonight?
That would be you. Oh, is it me? It's my turn. Hello. Troy, I'm so glad that you came on. We sure do appreciate it. This has been really cool getting to meet everybody and learn about everybody. So I'm just going to kind of dive right into it.
Okay.
Right now, we are dealing with housing issues, mainly with HUD. And so I kind of have a two-part question.
Okay.
And with some transparency, I'm also in recovery and I work in mental health and substance use.
Okay.
So, with the housing, if housing is a basic human right, what responsibility does our state have? And what are some, what is that plan that you have to kind of protect the housing?
Go
ahead.
I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
Oh, well, and because it might tie into how you answer. And so, we were talking earlier, and there's so many different levels of housing, right? So you talked about trafficking and aging out of the foster care system. We don't have services for those.
Correct.
You talk about, mental health, substance use, and disability, and domestic violence. We're struggling with those resources. And so I feel like that kind of all ties in with some of these affordable housing issues that we're having. And so what are some things that you have planned or concepts of an idea? Yes, and you have a housing bill.
I have one that I've written. Yes. You're correct that it's all tied together. And so this all has tied together for the last 45 plus years that I've talked about this multiple times about how our housing crisis, I believe, is a direct impact of trickle down economics. And that's being, it's exponentially worse because now we're allowing residential housing as an investment.
Right.
And so, private equity and these big corporations are buying residential houses literally thousands at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it is all connected,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to sadly get worse. I mean, if you look at least where I live in Cleveland County, when you see a new housing addition going in, these aren't $80,000 to $150,000 homes.
Oh no.
They're $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and $600,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's on purpose. That's a control tactic. It controls the market, controls pricing. And somebody has to invest. Somebody, the state, the federal government has got to be willing to invest in affordable housing, especially rental properties. And we've got to get private equity completely out of, or at least limit what they can and can't purchase or where. So, but if we look at my Unhoused Protection Housing Stability Act, I'm starting to dig into how do we finance things, and there's just a whole host of ways. Look, we don't have money problems. What we have are priority problems.
Yep.
Right? Because we can always seem to find money for war and golden ballrooms but never for the people that actually need it. It's one of the reasons why I'm here. I've come from I don't know how, I'd feel really bad for somebody that's come lower than where I've been, because I just don't know how it would be survivable. And so, but if you look at homelessness, and I've talked about this recently, on average, an unhoused person costs a taxpayer about $38,000 a year on average. That is trips to, the hospital, trips to the ER, support services, trips in and out of jail. We have to pay for that while they're sitting in jail. And so, but it actually costs way less than that to house them. So we have to find ways. There's always money to be found, like I said, to find ways to reallocate, and we can go after some of these corporations with fines when they aren't keeping these properties up the way they're supposed to. I've lived in some places you couldn't get the landlords to do anything. And go ahead.
When you talk about the fines, that was something that Elisa and I were talking about, as far as, if housing or something isn't good, right, and they don't fix it, too. Why is that not happening right now? That all of our public housing, income-based housing are in the toilet. So why is the state not going after that, or why is HUD not going after the state for not maintaining this property?
It's because I don't believe it's a priority to them. I mean, if you look at who's controlling the state right now, not to call anybody out, but the Republicans have the supermajority here for 15 years, and where has it gotten us? Everything has just gotten worse. Except for domestic violence, which we're actually leading in. But everything else has slowly just gotten worse and worse and worse. Now, I mean, individual mayors are doing what they can to help in their cities. But on the state level, listen, the people who are suffering the most are the people out in the rural districts, out in rural areas of the state.
Yep.
And so, to me, that's where everything needs to start. We've got to change the direction that we look at things. Like we've been trained to look up. I mentioned this last night. We're always trained to look up, waiting for a crumb to fall off some rich guy's table. And we spend a lot of our resources. And in the big city where the majority of the populations are at. But this bill of mine that I'm working on is focusing from the rural areas and working inward. Because every time there's a cut made, it's made first out in the rural areas, whether it's public schools or housing or whatever. But if you think, I mean, how we have to figure out how do we get people to invest in rural areas and build the houses in those areas that people can actually afford to rent. But as far as the state, they have the money. There's like 1 point something billion dollars in our rainy day fund. What's that money going to be used for if it's not going to be used for the folks that actually need it? So, like I said, there's money available. It's all about allocation and priorities, and it can be done if we can get the right people in leadership to get it done.
We agree. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Michael.
Perfect. So I like to ask this on everyone. So I noticed that you pledged that members of Congress shouldn't trade individual stocks while in office. How would you enforce that legislative ethics?
Enforcing it. We have to, if we're going to make any changes at all, it's going to take getting people in there that are willing to commit to the things that they say they're going to do. So if I don't have a specific answer. I don't know how that's enforced until I'm in there trying to enforce it. But any bill that comes across targeting that, I would happily sign. I'm not going to participate. I know there are a lot of people in there who don't, but we still keep either sending people or re-electing people who we know are self-serving and abusing that system, of stock trading. And it's clear that they're using insider trading. It's how it works. And all that money has to come from somewhere. So I'm wholeheartedly against it. It should have ended a long time ago. I just don't. I don't know what the answer is until I get in there and see, what can be done. Give it to people that are already working on bills. That their people have put things forward in the past, and we just don't have enough people in there to support it to get it through. It's hard to take food off of somebody's table, especially a greedy person. That they just want more and more and more. I mean, look at Mark Wayne Mullen at how much more wealth he's amassed since he's been in there. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I think definitely drawing attention to it, and then also kind of backing behind that, putting some legislative behind that, I guess. Like
Sure.
you said,
Yeah.
I think it's like you said, once you get in there, you'll figure out how that happens.
Yep. But we have to keep talking about it, and we have to keep talking about it. Keep it out in the open. And
now,
keep calling
are you
people
building
out.
coalitions from folks running in other states as well?
No. I quite honestly, I haven't considered it, and the other part of that is I don't know where I would find the time, but I plan to soon to start reaching out. Yes, there's a couple of people on my radar that I want to reach out to.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I know. It's like, I'm going to go ahead and go with this question that's in the comments.
I like that question. Yeah.
I know, right? I was like, ooh, good question, girl. Would you work to divest from Israel and get their influence out of our laws?
So that influence has been there a long time. And this mess between Israel and Gaza has been going on for decades. I don't know. Let me say this. What's going on in Gaza is genocide. Mm-hmm. And yes, the answer is yes. That influence needs to be quelled a lot. I'm not privy to the ins and outs of everything that in this relationship. Only what I read, and again, that's even getting sketchy. If what's true and what isn't anymore on the internet. But I agree that there's a huge problem there. I'm not taking APAC money. I'm not taking any corporate money. I've been a mold breaker my whole life, and I'm hell bent on winning this election with as little money as possible. Just going door to door, going to events, shaking hands, talking to people, and seeing where I fit in and how I make the biggest impact.
Yeah, but I also like that you didn't just come up with willy-nilly, let me just blow some smoke. It was, you know what, I don't know, but I agree with you, and we're going to work on that.
Well, anyone who has never done this job, I can't tell a pilot how to fly a plane. I've never flown one.
Right.
And this is kind of the same. And if a candidate is going to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that," they need to be realistic. And that's how you set yourself up for failure. And I can't do that. I'm here to learn. I'm here to hopefully get in there and learn, and stop screaming at my television from my recliner. I can't get anything done there. So I taught my children and my students over the years to put up or shut up. Don't wait for someone else to fix your problems. Get involved, learn how it could be fixed, and that's what I'm here to do. I take my beliefs in there with me, and I'll figure out the rest of it when I get in there.
Right. There you go.
Yes.
Michael, you got anything?
Okay, there we go. Right. So I know that you have some human trafficking in your background. So what do you think that Congress most needs to hear regarding that, with policies and?
We need better protections for victims, because people don't talk. People don't come forward sooner because of the good old boy system, right? And we've got to build a system that protects the victims. I mean, why do we need proof? Why don't we just listen to the victims? Why aren't we listening to them? We're waiting for the Epstein files to come out. And again, we have multiple living victims, but we just don't believe them. Well, what's your proof? So, and a lot of people won't come forward because they're attacked and threatened. And the first thing we need to do is go after the buyers. The buyers, those are the people, the buyers and the traffickers. That's who we really need to go after. But like I said, we've got to protect the victims so that they can come forward and not worry about being harassed or threatened to, the powerful people, they're powerful and they stay in power for a reason. Like I said, this is a good old boys club. I don't get too much into the particulars on this, but it always seems to be highly connected. And it's a global issue, of course, but we just have to keep talking about it. Like I said, once I get in there, if we're still fighting over this Epstein thing, I'm here to tell you they're going to throw me out of that room probably multiple times over this.
I was going to say, I guess we could probably assume what she would vote for on the Epstein files.
What was that?
Oh, I assume we can all assume what you would vote for on the Epstein files, to release them or not. So I
don't care who's in it. Yeah, I don't. Listen, whatever castle crumbles because of this just needs to crumble. We'll just rebuild.
100%. Absolutely.
I don't care what government it is, what country, what leader. I don't care. I don't care. What about the victims, for crying out loud?
Right.
That's what I don't understand. As a child victim, it disgusts me. I'm furious, and I just don't want to unload on you guys here, but I'm just so ready to get in there and do something.
Yeah, I think that's been my main response is, can we just normalize bleeding the victims?
Right.
Because
Right.
when the King of England dethrones a prince and takes away his title, any monetary or establishment privileges that he has, but yet we can't do that in our own country. That's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and he did that on a hoax, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all a hoax, you know.
Yep.
Like, really. So again, you know, for me, that was a long time ago. Nothing's changed. It's a system. It's going to be hard to break. Very hard.
Right. So, are you aware of the trafficking bill that was put forth last session?
Not completely. No. I saw a blip about it, but no.
Because that was something that we kind of worked on last year. Wasn't sure like what you felt about that.
Here in Oklahoma?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, last session.
No, I'll look into it for sure.
I feel like it was like later in the session.
Where's it at? Where's it?
Didn't hear it in the Senate, so it could come back up this year.
Okay.
As well.
Okay, cool.
Is it just lying dormant right now?
Yeah,
Yes.
in the Senate.
Okay.
The House passed it, and the Senate has not heard it on the floor yet. That's all they're waiting for.
They don't want to hear it. Okay. Yeah.
But it's pretty decent as far as protecting the victims, and it adds special protections for child survivors who are also forced into trafficking themselves.
Yeah.
Getting other people involved, and so it protects them. It also gives money to help reintegrate these victims back into society, these survivors back into society with mental health, substance abuse.
Does it mention the foster care system?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it does?
I'm sorry, what?
Does it mention the foster care system at all? Do you know?
No.
Okay. Because sadly, foster kids are being trafficked too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's got to be something that we can do to alleviate some of the stuff.
It's a supply and demand issue. And if there's a demand, they have to come up with creative ways for supply. So, and again, they're just greedy, heartless people who a state check to care for a child isn't enough, you know. So, like I said, there's some heartless people who traffic out their foster children. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry you had experienced that growing up. We've got to do better as a nation.
I do know, as somebody that's worked in mental health and substance use and an inpatient substance use, that was one of the things that is so heartbreaking, but also in the aspect of I have no resources for you. Very, very few, if at all. Same thing with the youth that are phasing out of or aging out of foster care.
That's a priority issue. I mean, that problem could be solved. If I had decided if I hadn't had the mechanism in my brain to want to prove the world wrong about me, and I ended up, taking a life of crime instead, and went to prison. When I come out of prison, you know what they'll give me? They'll put me in a halfway house. They'll put a few dollars in my pocket. They'll help me find work. But we can't do that as a preventative measure to keep children like me from going to prison.
Yep.
And you know where what connects to that? Private prisons. We've got to get rid of those. Again, it's a supply and demand. That prison can't make money. Maybe he's the buddy of a legislator or a DA or whoever, and he's like, hey, man, I'm getting a low head count here. I need some more inmates. See if you can convict a few more for me. So, I mean, this
where
is...
the core civic came in and all of that.
Yeah, this is all connected.
Mhm.
It's all connected. If, like I said, if we don't start looking from things from the correct direction, which is from the bottom up, none of this is going to get solved. But who wants to do that? I mean, the people at the top don't. They want to keep what they have. They certainly don't want to waste it on those of us at the bottom who, one, probably wouldn't appreciate it and wouldn't know what to do with it if we had it. That's kind of how they look at it. That we're down here for a reason, and we just need to work harder and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps.
Right.
That's tough to do when you don't have boots.
Correct.
So,
we don't have bootstraps. I've been there.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, what does your bill do differently to help with some of these areas? Because I mean, I'm fascinated. I'm just going to out myself real quick. I was almost trafficked in the '80s out of Mena, Arkansas, and I'm interested in knowing like more about what you would recommend as a victim and survivor yourself, as far as our laws need to be.
As far as laws go, we have laws to protect people. What we don't have is proper oversight. Again, oversight over the foster care system. The problem there is a lack of resources, a lack of allocation of resources. DHS is spread so thin that there's no way they can monitor all of this, all of their cases. So, like I said, when it comes to protection, we have laws in place to punish people who do wrong. But if they aren't caught, if no one if there's no oversight to see what's happening, and another place this happens is in our public school systems. Again, I was looked past and pushed aside all of my childhood. And I this has nothing to do with, I'm not talking bad about our teachers. I love our teachers and they need more support. But I want to make a point, and it's this. When I was in the 4th grade, I had a teacher who, if you came to school without your homework done, the punishment was a paddling. And I can't count the times that I was in the hallway getting paddled for not having my homework done. But not one time did that teacher ever pull me aside to find out why my homework wasn't done. What's happening? Is there something wrong at home? And so those are the issues. All that, like I said, everything is usually connected. So more resources for public education, smaller classes, so that teachers can help spot things that are happening, right, with children in their classroom. They're so overwhelmed, it's impossible. So we have to look at policies that force allocation for programs and for public schools, for more mental health, especially in our public school systems, right? Things are so crazy now. I don't know how our kids know up from down, and our mental health issues are going to get worse because stress is going to get worse on our parents. Stress is going to get worse on our public schools. If they keep shutting down, if small rural schools keep going away, it's going to shove more kids into the other schools and just compound the issues. So, like I said, there are plenty of laws that protect people, but we need to really look at our public health systems and how we can better fund our DHS program so that they can have more oversight and do a better job of selecting and overseeing proper foster homes and homes where that kids are in that shouldn't be there. And sadly, I'll stop here and let you guys have another question. But sadly, even with the horrible situation that I went through, and I never knew my mother, but this is all between my father and I. The policy was to try and reintegrate me back into his home. And that happened multiple times. And multiple times I ended up back on the street, getting in trouble, breaking curfew, stealing, to eat, because he would disappear for weeks at a time. And then I would end up back in the youth shelter and right back into a foster home. And this was just a vicious cycle that happened over and over and over because they needed to get me out of the system and try to get me back into his place so that they didn't have to take care of me because there's too many of us. There's too many.
Thank you for that candid answer.
So, but specifically, like I said, all I can do is put my ideas on paper and ways where I think that where I think money could come from, and just hope that somebody else smarter than me who is already in there doing the job can say, yes, well, we've already tried this. Maybe let's rewrite this another way and see if we can get it done that way. Like I said, I'm going in with my ideas and hope I can latch on to some experience in there and get some of this taken care of.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. I want to shift into kind of more a question I want to know is, given the current administration that is attacking blue states, blue cities, once we inevitably become a blue city, hopefully a blue state, are you going to be prepared to face Donald Trump and his attacks?
Let me say this, and this isn't performative, okay? I took one of the worst beatings in my life when I was 13, taken up for a person I didn't even know. And I have fought for the underdog my entire life. And I'm here to tell you that I'm willing to die to change what's happening right now. I really am. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid to go in there and make some people angry and have them angry at me or threaten me. What's happening right now is completely disgusting. And listen, if they really wanted to do what they say they want to do, why aren't they in Texas and Florida on a more massive scale? Why aren't they going into ganglands where these criminals are actually living, that they say they want to get rid of? They're in the parking lot at Home Depot. And like you said, they're retaliating against blue states. I love that you use the word inevitability because I believe you're right. So, so things are about to change here. But no, sir, I'm not afraid of any of it. I'll look him dead in the face, and I have a lot to say. A lot.
I love to hear.
Can't wait to say it. I can't. Please give me the opportunity to say it.
I say the same thing. I'm like, if I could just have one day.
Well, look, people can ask my family, my students, my wife, multiple times when I'm on my soapbox and trying to tell people that to get involved and motivate people to stop waiting for some big knight to ride in on a horse and save you, And I've said multiple times that I would take the first bullet if I knew 1 million people were standing behind me. But for a person to walk out there alone, and that voice just gets silenced and then it's over. So, we've had a lot of people throughout history come out and be loud, and we just need to be loud. So, and I actually kind of like doing that. So I'm ready to go.
No, I saw Hi Grandpa Troy, and I said, "Ooh, we got a granddaughter up in here. That's so exciting." He's like, "Hi, Grandpa Troy." I was like, okay, we got to call this out. That's so good. So I saw a couple things here about Troy is not for Israel. He is for us. Let me see here.
How can we?
About vote to stop terrorizing, ICE to stop terrorizing people. I don't remember. Will you vote to embargo and sanction the UAE for its actions of genocide in Sudan?
I'm sorry.
I know it's a lot.
I heard Sudan, an embargo.
So would you vote to embargo and sanction the UAE for its actions of genocide in Sudan?
I will vote for anything that saves lives. Period. Period. I'm a humanitarian down to my core, and for the life of me, I can't understand the hatefulness of people. I made a post about it today. It's really easy. It's really easy to be terrible to someone. A, when you don't have to look them in the eye, and B, when you're doing it by proxy. And I mean, if you're a hateful person sitting on your couch cheering that someone else is killing someone you don't like, you know, you're cheering on. I mean, you are the thing that you hate,
Right.
and so the answer is yes, yes, yeah, and we've got to protect people. Now we have to look at resources, and our protection needs to start at home. Our priorities are here. We have people suffering here. And I know that, you know, that we're a global superpower and people expect us to help and come to their aid, but we can't do that at the cost of our own people. We just can't. You know, we really got to focus on getting our own house in order, if you will, before we try and clean up someone else's.
Thank you. Absolutely.
You're welcome.
While we're on that subject, I do want to touch on, I know that you said you fight for all rights, so does that include LGBT, trans?
110 gazillion%. Absolutely. 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 As a matter of fact, that beating I took was protecting a kid who was in the closet. We all knew. And, you know, I mean, I knew who he was. I didn't know him personally, and that started when I was 13. So yeah, absolutely. We're all the same. I mean, a human is a human to me. I don't care. You know, what God they worship, what skin color they have, who they marry. None of that matters to me. Matter of fact, I was born an underdog. I grew up an underdog, and you know, I have the gumption to get in there and fight when it needs to happen. So if there's an underdog in trouble, I'm going to come to their aid every time.
That's
amazing. I love that. What committees will you try to get in on if elected senator?
I'm sorry, what?
What committees? What committees will you try to get on if elected?
I'm not sure I know the answer to that. I'm not even sure what all committees there are, but I know for sure that I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that. It's not anything I've looked into because I haven't allowed myself yet to jinx myself and think that you know, that I have this in the bag, and so I'm trying to take this a day at a time. I think that the committees are probably limited to, you know, there's a limitation if you're a freshman to the committees you can be on. But I just want to see. I'm a workaholic, so if there's space in my calendar and I am eligible to be on a committee, and I think it's somewhere that I can make a difference, then I will absolutely do my best to get on it and see if I can help.
Did you see that one from Melissa? Michael, what groups have you been a part of in your own community? I think that was asked earlier. Didn't get to it.
like just like civic groups and things like that.
Yeah, it's just a question in the comments. Just kind of wanting to know, like, kind of what have you been a part of in your own community? Like, you've experienced so much. Like, what are you involved with in the community?
Okay, I'll get through this as quick as I can, but I need to back up just a little bit.
Okay.
So while I was still homeless, I had this little job where I was cleaning a meat market every 3 nights a week for $5. The guy paid me cash. It was a mom and pop grocery store. But I would walk back and forth every night by this martial arts school. That's how the martial arts came into play. It wasn't like a passion or anything, but I grew up in a time of Bruce Lee and, Chuck Norris when he was younger. And, what kid back then didn't want to take karate? So anyway, this guy motioned me in one night. And that's how my martial arts career started, and he even let me sleep in an empty room in the back of the school. And so he got me off the street. He saved my life and kept me out of prison. But because we hadn't talked about martial arts, I want to tie that in real quick. So, as I train, I've been on a mat for over 40 years since that day. I just haven't left. I'm sure you see all this mess behind me, but when I opened my school in 1992, the first thing I did was reach out to my old caseworker, who I'd stayed in contact with, and actually we stayed close until he passed. And I reached out to him in 92 right away, and I said, I can afford to take on this many kids here at the school. I'll teach them for free, so you find the ones you believe that I can help and bring them to me. That was my civic service. I had to do 100 hours community service for my first black belt. And I did that community service at my local elementary school, tutoring math and reading to third graders. So, and I also did community service at the local nursing home on Sundays. I would go and take people out for walks. If they were in a wheelchair, I would, push them because the staff didn't have time to do all of that. And that's how I got my community service through my first 2 black belts. So as far as other groups, it's all martial arts related. Now, I started a nonprofit in 2018 called 5 Tenets Youth Foundation. And I did that to try and raise money to bring in more people. And we wanted to expand that to all the way up to 19-year-olds, because we had a free tutoring program with volunteers through my school to help people train, for the GED or learn how to write a resume or fill out job applications. And sadly enough, for 3 years, we just couldn't get people to donate to it. People just didn't care about these kids, and sadly, society doesn't until they're breaking in their house or pointing a gun at them. So this year, I started Safe Haven, Oklahoma, and it was my lifelong dream. Safe Haven, Oklahoma targets, like you mentioned earlier at the onset here, human trafficking and missing and exploited children. I'm a licensed private investigator with my own agency, and I just want to rescue people and help people who are falling through the cracks. Not everybody can afford to hire a private investigator. It's expensive. And sadly, our brown and black communities and our indigenous communities, these cases just go cold. And so we just want to help where we can. So my whole life has been about service to other people. Quite frankly, had I just closed my school and gotten a regular job, I guess you could say, and I could have made so much more money, but my heart is on the mat. My heart is with people, and it's just where I thrive.
No, I love that for you. That's an amazing example.
Thank you.
I just saw a good comment come through from Melissa. She's got some good questions here in the comments. So I would like to know as well, but would you be willing to vote for women's right for abortion?
Absolutely, 1,000%. 1,000%. Absolutely. I have granddaughters that it infuriates me that they're looking at fewer rights than their mothers had, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, I love the fact though that I hate that they have to experience this, but I like the fact that they know what's going on. And I say that as somebody who grew up watching these rights come into fruition and not know that that is what's happening. Like I didn't have a mom that was like, oh my gosh, I can vote, or I can get a credit card by myself, or my dad doesn't have to sign for my car. I didn't know that was a thing. I can look back now and go, oh, that's why my mom left my dad, and that's why we did this, and I can see that. So to have your granddaughters, even so, thank you, ladies, for even being here. Because it's very commendable that even be involved, and that they now have you to look up to as an example and kind of, guide and do all the things, because they're our future. That's right, ladies. You're next.
Well, if there's any positive out of this, is that it's also going to teach these young girls to use their voice and to fight, and that everything isn't always just a given. We have to continue to fight for things throughout our life, and hopefully they grow up fired up and pissed off and ready to fight for their rights, and to keep the rights they have and get the ones that they've lost back. So I think that I've raised as a pretty tough father, because I wanted to prepare my family for the world that I grew up in, and so I think my granddaughters they're going to be pretty feisty too. And if I could say hi, that would be fantastic. Hey, Bree, Sophie, Harper. I hope everybody's watching. Hello.
I muted it. Listen. I don't know why it's echoing.
I thought I lost you guys.
Oh, no. Oh, Bree said, can you tell him I said hi and I missed him? Yes, Bree.
I love you, baby.
Granddaughter.
Oh, it helps.
Oh, she'll make me cry.
Oh.
They're in
now you
Texas.
guys know.
I'm sorry.
I said, well, now they know that I'm really excited for them to be able to experience this.
And it looks like you got a visit soon.
Yeah.
Michael, did you have something else that?
Yeah. I kind of want to know how you plan to support small businesses.
From the federal level, we've just got to support. I'll support any legislation that's going to help states, but it's up to the states to allocate that stuff and create the right resources that help keep our small businesses afloat. I'm a small business owner myself. There's a back and forth over this state question 832 here in Oklahoma, which is going to be on the June ballot, the primary ballot June 16th, which raises our minimum wage, and a lot of people who are against it think that it's going to hurt small business because they can't afford to pay the help. I get that too. As a small business owner, I'm often stuck between needing help and still not able to afford that help. But I certainly wouldn't expect to bring someone on and not be able to pay them a living wage, which is why my help is so, I have such little help now. But we've got to come up with ways, whether it's through tax breaks, things of that nature. again, until I get in there and learn how these things operate and how it trickles down, which I hate that term, but how this filters out to the states and to small businesses. I don't know how to answer that directly, but my eye is on it. Again, I've been a small business owner for a long time, not just with my martial arts school and our pro shop, but I owned a gun and pawn shop and antique store in Ardmore for several years, and I fought this battle every day. I feel like that we're taxed to death. We're insuranced to death, and regulations and licensing, and it's there's got to be some breaks in there somewhere to help people, and we need to come up with a way with a program where we can give people maybe some low interest starter loans to help get these businesses up and off the ground. I've not ever taken a loan. I built all my businesses just from my pocket, saving, putting money in a coffee can until I had the money to expand or to open the second business that I wanted. But we've got to make it easier to get these things started, and so they can get through their first 3 to 5 years and get established, so we know they're going to survive. To me, it seems like that would be cheaper than covering bankruptcies for people that that start and fail.
Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, your granddaughter's too cute. Hey, so Melissa, and we love this. Would you be willing to fight against the data centers?
Fight against what?
The data centers? Like Google and all them are building these huge data centers for AI and all the things?
So yes and no, but let me say why. We need to be strategic in where these data centers go, right? Naturally, they're going to target our water resources, and people, and understandably, we've got to protect our water resources. But at the same time, they have to go somewhere. They're not going to go away. AI is here to stay, right? And so we've got to be really careful, I think, in with regulations and yes, and infrastructure and how we protect our water supplies. I understand people's concerns wholeheartedly. Sadly, right now the planet's running out of fresh water. But it's something I would have to look at a strategic level and see, how it affects the area where they're trying to put it, what's going to be best for the population. Naturally, we're never going to come up with an answer that's going to please everyone, but it's something we need to watch closely.
Right, and so we actually thank you so much for earlier talking about the bills that you were going to pass and that you had in mind. Like, we really appreciate you going over that. I do know Melissa had mentioned about the fight against AI. I tend to agree. It's going to be here. I think we need to fight against the regulations of it. If I'm understanding that correctly. Michael's right.
Did I miss a question?
No, I think we were talking about like that. And I do think Melissa asked up there, she asked about the fight for the regulations for it. So we know AI is here to stay. It's been here for a minute. Are you willing to fight with us against the regulations for it?
Yes. I mean, I'm willing to look at what's happening and definitely see what's going to be the best outcome for the residents and for the people in the surrounding areas. Like I said, we've got to look at the regulations wholeheartedly and look at the water usage for the facilities and AI regulations for sure. We need to take a really hard look at those regulations and see, just see what the impact is actually going to be.
Yeah, because we can stand outside with picket signs all day long,
Correct.
but it's not
Correct.
going to do anything if we don't have any fighting on our side. Like we have to go out there yelling and screaming, and it's still happening.
I agree, but I first got to get in there and find out the inner workings to know how best to help.
Right. That makes sense. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. I think about this. Think about the world when airplanes were first taken to the skies. This is to me kind of. I mean, I wasn't alive back then, but I can imagine that people were really stressed out over what it was going to do to the safety of people on the ground and to the planet, and all the fumes and the fuel. So there's always going to be a lot of things to look at. How it affects people.
Yeah.
We have about 4 minutes left. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to cover?
Just that we really need to look at the primary for this seat. There are 3 of us in this primary, and we really need to look at this on the standpoint of winnability. Who's going to be the best person to take on Mark Wayne Mullen, and actually win. So I hope the best person wins the primary. If it isn't me, coming out on the other side of this primary, I hope whoever wins it gets the job done, gets that man out of there, and gets in there and does the work that we need here in Oklahoma, because we're not in a good place right now. And my wife, she's been an RN for a long time. She's been a nurse for over 20 years, and we're seeing things on the front line with her job. With our health industry is about to be in crisis, and we have a lot of work to do. So I just want to thank you guys for having me on. Thank your viewers for being here, and please just check me out online. I need all the online warriors I can get. Of course, campaigns, of course, need money. I'm in it. My intentions are pure. I'm not trying to get rich. I have a job and companies that I love. They will continue even if I go to Washington. But I'm just here trying to figure out how I help more people on a grander scale than what I've been doing the last 40 years. So thank you guys so much, and thanks for listening. And just watch the campaign. If you don't like what I'm saying, let me know. And if you have questions, please reach out. I love the contact. I love the human connection. And I hope to see all of you out on the trail somewhere so I can meet you in person.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. This has been great.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely fantastic.
And I would like to know, we've had Michaela Desmond Thomas on. I am remiss. I cannot remember who the third candidate was. But would you be open to coming back for a debate here at Humpday Exchange before the primaries?
100%. Absolutely. It would be a pleasure. Yeah. Yeah. I think that Miss Thomas is a strong candidate. I think that we're just different contrasts. Two different generations. We're just looking at things from different sides. And I think it would be great for your viewers to have us on in a debate.
Yeah.
Well,
did I lose y'all?
Perfect.
Can you not hear us?
I can.
Oh.
Did I go over your time?
No, you're fine. You don't mind.
Okay.
I was just, having an issue with some feedback or something.
I caught a little of it on my end too.
Yeah. But we've been trying. We had CD2 candidates here for a debate, And we'd love to get you guys on here too. This is an important race.
It really is.
We only get two. Each state only gets two. So, it's really important that we pick our senators consciously and intentionally.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, thank you for spending the time with us. What is your website for people to be able to get involved, if they want to volunteer, if they want to donate? What is that information?
Everything I do is Troy for OK. That's Troy, FOROK. So that would be .com or @ you can find me on all my social media with that. There's a lot of information on our website. You can email me from there. And I love it when people contact me directly. So, yeah, if they have questions, please reach out. It's how I learn. Like I said, I don't know what I don't know. You may ask a question, or may ask me something I haven't contemplated yet. So keep me on my toes. I like it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate
you. You guys are
everybody.
great.
Troy Green for U.S. Senate in Oklahoma. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us for another Humpday Exchange.
So, and then they can get you on the website if they have additional questions. Troy?
I'm sorry?
They can email you from the website if they have additional questions.
Yep, that's pretty easy too. troyforok@gmail.com.
We appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. This is
You're welcome.
great.
Thanks for having me.
I've enjoyed you very much.
It's been a blast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see you next week with our special guest is John Croissant. Thank you all for coming on Humpday Exchange. There you are.
Hey.
Your camera's been off.
Have y'all not been able to see me this whole time?
No.
Oh, I had no idea. I just hit the save button just now, and it put, that stinks. I had no idea. Hi.
Well, you were talking about things behind you. We're like, there's nothing back there.
Oh, my Lord. Well, I'll be darned. I had no idea. Hi.
You're good.
I just thought I was supposed to hit that save button at the end, so that's what I've been waiting for.
Oh, that's funny.
Well,
You learn something new every day.
People couldn't see me. That stinks because, who doesn't want to see this smile?
Right?
You had that picture up, so.
Yeah.
Let's see a picture of yourself.
Well, that stinks. I didn't know people couldn't see me, or I'd have fixed it. So, but thank you guys for having me on.
In full view.
What's that?
We will definitely have you back on in full view, definitely.
Yeah.
And maybe even some actual live events. We're talking about getting a few different candidates lined up for some, like a committee type thing, or a town hall with several candidates.
Yeah. So. Well, if you are, we're not live now, are we? Are we still live?
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, great. Okay. So, hey, everybody. So if you guys, I just throw this out there, but if you ever need space, right? I have space at my office. My corporate headquarters there in Norman. I have a great little space there in the corner. It's perfect for podcasting. If you guys ever need it, that's what we were going to use tonight. If you guys had been able to make it down. So please reach out anytime if you're having issues finding a place.
That's awesome.
I feel like that's a whole separate road trip just to check it out.
Anytime, yeah. 36 in Robinson. It's easy to find right behind Armstrong Bank. Yeah, stop by it anytime.
Have fun. Challenge accepted.
She'll take you up on it.
Again, thank you so much. This has been a blast. I mean, wow. Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
A human running for office. We don't see a whole lot of them. Thank you. So thank you for that. Very down to earth. Appreciate it.
I'm so much better in person.
Amazing, loving family too.
Bree,
go
she loves
see
you.
Bree.
Yes,
She loves you and misses you.
I miss her so much. I love you, baby. I'll see you soon.
Now, where are they at? Where's your granddaughter at?
Okay.
Is she in a different state?
Yeah, they're in Texas.
Oh, that's next door.
And sadly, I didn't quite get to talk about it. It just didn't come up. But, we have 2 children with Williams syndrome, which is like Downs.
Oh, okay.
And so the resources for them are so poor here in Oklahoma that they're in Texas too, in group homes in Texas. You know, we can't even get them close to home. It takes us 7 hours to go and pick them up and bring them home, you know, for holidays and stuff. It's a pain. So
I feel like on the autism spectrum, we also do not have resources.
Correct.
It's very difficult to be in social services in Oklahoma right now.
Yeah, we tried it. We had you know, CJ here for a while, and he, you know, he's Williams and has autism too. But it just there just weren't the resources here that he needed to thrive. So he's doing really well, you know, where he's at. But we need him close to home. We miss him. So yeah, that's another thing that we need to get fixed.
Yeah.
Like I said, we do a piss poor job about caring for the people that need us the most. I know I was one of them. That's why I'm here, and I'm fixing to kick somebody's ass. I'm telling you.
Right. There for it all. I'm going to hop off. I'm so glad that you came on tonight. I loved getting to meet you. Our audience, like, really enjoyed you as well. So I'm really excited to continue to see you out on the campaign trail and to have you back on the show with us.
Thank you so much. You guys have been a blast. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joyce.
We'll see you later.
And I'm going to go get dinner. Have a great night.
You too.